As the Kansas City Chiefs look to go 3-0 on the season, there is an article suggesting they might have the inside track to go 3-0 in consecutive Super Bowls. The article in question comes to us from the 33rd team. It is titled, "Why the Kansas City Chiefs Are Uniquely Equipped to Win Third Straight Super Bowl," written by Ross Tucker, and it starts as such. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the best position of any team to win 3 straight Super Bowls in a long time. Now, right off the surface, that is obvious because they are in the rarefied air of being in position to go to 3 consecutive Super Bowls by having won 2 consecutive Super Bowls. The article continues, "On the surface, that's not exactly a bold statement when it's been almost 20 years since any team won back-to-back Super Bowls, giving them an opportunity to do something that has never been done: win 3 Super Bowls in a row. The biggest reason? Their competition or lack thereof." To be clear, the Chiefs have not looked dominant or even all that great yet. Even so, they have still found a way to win close games late against projected playoff teams because, well, that is what the Chiefs do. I want to stop right there. They have not looked great yet. They have beaten both the Ravens and the Bengals. These are 2 teams that, if you had bet money on the AFC Championship game before the season, you would have gotten no money at all for selecting either the Ravens or the Bengals because they are 2 of the prohibitive favorites in the AFC. The Chiefs obviously being the favorites in the AFC. But the article continues, Chiefs AFC West domination. Let's start with their division. The Chargers and their new coach Jim Harbaugh are off to a 2-0 start, although they haven't faced a murderer's row to start the season with a home game against the Raiders followed by a win against the hapless Panthers, who have since benched their quarterback. The Chargers roster still appears to lack the playmakers to be taken seriously as a contender. However, new offensive coordinator Greg Roman deserves some credit for getting production out of guys like Quentin Johnston and J.K. Dobbins to start the year. Still, most experts are betting lines have the Chargers at about a 500 team, and thus on the outside looking in for a playoff berth. The Raiders, meanwhile, got a massive win against the Ravens on Sunday, but are not being taken seriously by anyone as a playoff contender. A journeyman quarterback with a first-time NFL head coach is not the typical formula for a winning season, let alone a legitimate postseason adversary. They are projected to win 6 or 7 games. Last, and probably least, the Broncos have a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix who is learning on the job. Putting it kindly, they were considered one of the NFL's worst teams coming into the season and are trying to prove they can be competitive. Put it all together, and the Chiefs appear to be in a much easier division than the other top AFC contenders in the AFC North and AFC East. That means the Chiefs have a terrific chance to be the number 1 seed and to get the number 1 seed and the bye that comes with it. Although they proved last year they don't need it. There's a few things that we need to talk about here. Number 1, part of the reason that the rest of the AFC West looks so bad is that most of them every season lose to the Kansas City Chiefs twice. Most of them lose to the Kansas City Chiefs twice every year. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have an impeccable record in the division. So the fact that these other teams are starting the season basically with a 2-win deficit, they basically start the season with 0-2 on their schedules because they play the Kansas City Chiefs, makes those other teams look worse even than they are. Whereas a team in the AFC East, the AFC North, they will split those games if they are both good. There are some good teams in the AFC West from time to time. They're just not as good, anywhere near as good, as are the Kansas City Chiefs. Next, worth talking about here, we start with the Chargers and their new coach, Jim Harbaugh. Why do they have a new coach? Because the Kansas City Chiefs have beaten the brakes off them so bad for so long that they have to make changes. There's no excuse. So here's the thing. We have seen time and again in the NFL that what can happen is a team can be pretty good. A team can even make the playoffs time and time again. But if there's one foe in their division they just can't get over, well, the line is out that, hey, Coach XYZ can't beat Bill Belichick. Coach XYZ can't beat Mike Tomlin. Coach XYZ can't beat Andy Reid. And so, we have to move on. That is the case for coaches in the AFC West, as is exemplified down here. Where are we at here? The Raiders, we have, and first-time NFL head coach. Why do the Raiders have a first-time NFL head coach? Because they keep losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. Then let's go to the Denver Broncos. It is talked about in this article that the Broncos have a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix who is learning on the job, to put it kindly. Why do they have a rookie quarterback? Because they have to have a strong quarterback to compete with Patrick Mahomes. The Broncos thought they were drafting a strong quarterback, a mobile, big-armed quarterback in Bo Nix when they took him in the first round. Because the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes keep beating them. In order to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to have a strong-armed quarterback. You have to be able to hit the deep ball, something that Russell Wilson was not able to do in his time with Denver, despite the fact that he had one of the prettiest deep balls in the NFL during his time with the Seahawks. He was a completely different quarterback by the time he got to Denver. So, say all you want that the Kansas City Chiefs play in a terrible division. The fact is, those teams start most seasons 0-2 before they ever play a football game. The article continues, why don't teams three-peat? As a guy who was on the last NFL team to try for a three-peat, the 2005 Patriots, my experience tells me the biggest impediment to the Chiefs making history is themselves. There is a reason why it has never been done before. There are probably many reasons, chief, no pun intended, among them, so the grammar here is terrible. Among them are injuries that tend to mount as the season goes along. Heck, that was the only reason New England signed me that season. They had already lost star left tackle Matt Light and stalwart center Dan Coppin due to season-ending injuries and brought me in for depth as other guys got banged up late in the season. It is the same reason why running backs with 400-plus touches tend to have down seasons the following year. The Chiefs' core has played many more games and snaps than their competitors. This is something I talk about a lot, and I talk about this a lot in the playoff series on the channel, the West Side stories. The Chiefs have to find a way to get some of their offensive linemen off of the field for a series at a time. The Chiefs have to find a way to limit the snaps of Travis Kelce, who has had a down season through 2 games. Not the biggest deal in the world, but he plays a lot of snaps for the Kansas City Chiefs. He played the least snaps of, I believe, the last 8 seasons last year, falling under the 900 snap mark, I believe, falling under the 1,000 yard mark for these Kansas City Chiefs. It is necessary that as Travis Kelce gets older and so basically everyone that has been on the Chiefs for like 4 years, they have played essentially an entire extra season of football. Travis Kelce has played over the last few seasons an extra year of football, taking away from his offseason recovery time and everything else, all of those accumulated hits. Speaking of running backs and injuries, the article continues, the Chiefs put Isaiah Pacheco on injured reserve this week. Perhaps the cumulative effect of their back-to-back extended playoff runs is already having an impact. If they can somehow avoid the myriad of maladies that typically affect the most teams in their shoes and utilize their fortunate positioning in the AFC West, they might just have a chance to make history. One thing this article does not expand upon is the fact that by winning consecutive Super Bowls, you have the worst draft picks you can for 2 seasons. You have to hit on them consistently. Because you have won back-to-back Super Bowls, you are last in the waiver wire. So whenever a player that has under an entire rookie contract of years accumulated is cut, you don't get to participate unless they fall all the way through the waiver wire, at which point you may as well not claim them, let them hit free agency, and try to sign them for a cheaper deal, at which point you might not get them because someone else might give them more money. So there are a number of things that contribute to the fact that, so because the draft position is so bad, because the waiver wire positioning is so bad, depth on teams like this means that those injuries, while they accumulate at a higher rate because of postseason snap counts, there's also not players to bring in the game behind those players. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, so consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.